Hey guys, what's up? How's everyone doing? So today's video is all on forehead acne, and that could be any type of acne, whether that be like big, whiteheads and big spots, or it could be like under the skin bumps and texture. I'm kind of going to cover it all today. I'm going to share all my tips on things that could be triggering it and things that can like help it get better. And yeah, hopefully this video is going to be really helpful for you guys. I'm kind of looking at myself in the viewfinder thinking like, Ebs, are you a little bit like too soon with the jumper? Because I know we're in October, but this jumper is just like, this actually was my Christmas jumper last year, I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, I feel like summer's over, it's acceptable. Before we do head any further, if you haven't already, make sure you come join the team, press subscribe button. I do post videos every day, Monday to Friday. But anyway, let's get into today's video and talk about forehead acne. So the first thing that's just like screaming at me in my head is digestion. This is your digestion area on your face. So when I say digestion, it can kind of encompass a lot of things. It could be constipation, so definitely making sure you are regular. Gut health is going to be your best friend here if you are trying to solve forehead acne. Really would recommend focusing on your gut health. I do have a whole video on gut health, I'll leave it listed down below, but I highly recommend that you check that out and focus on your gut health firstly, because I think that alone probably will make the biggest difference for you. The next thing with digestion, it could be the types of food you're eating, so we want to be reducing the processed foods. And also a big tip with forehead acne, I think, is switching your simple carbs to complex carbs. So basically you're switching white to brown. So if you haven't done this already, I mean, even just for your health in general, I really recommend doing it. But basically, in simple terms, when you do eat simple carbs, they do turn to sugar inside the body, so they can really affect your blood sugar levels. So simple carbs would be anything like white pasta, white rice, all the processed carbs out there, and all the processed refined foods and everything, that'll be under the simple category. To be honest with you, it's most things that are white, like white potatoes are another one. And then you want to switch them to complex carbs. Now complex carbs, they're slower releasing energy, so it just means your blood sugar levels can be much more stable. But in terms of forehead acne, I find that a lot of people who suffer with this have issues with the simple carbs. So yeah, I really recommend making that switch. Complex carbs are anything brown, so brown rice, brown rice pasta you can get. Even with pasta though, you can switch to like chickpeas and lentils. I mean, they're not complex carbs, but they're just some alternatives. Sweet potato as well, so if you go from a white potato to a sweet potato, that'd be a great switch you could make. But yeah, I would definitely look into that if you haven't already. Another thing I'd also look at are your oils, so making sure you are eating good sources of oils and not going for your saturated trans fats. So just try to avoid the deep fried food and all the stuff we shouldn't be having. Basically, it's really just trying to clean up your diet when it comes to forehead acne. I think that's kind of like the general thing with it. Now that being said, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to cut everything out and deprive yourself. Everything's about balance and moderation. A good example of this is I've been eating really good all week, but tonight I am going out for dinner and I'm pretty certain I might be ordering some chips. So do you know what I mean? Like, it is balance and moderation, that's fine, and it's not going to affect my skin. What really does affect our skin is when we're having things repetitively, like all the time, and that's when it can really like build up and affect our skin in like much worse ways. I just actually want to rewind slightly and just go back to the first tip when I said about the gut health thing, because I kind of mentioned constipation, but I didn't really talk about it too much. And this is really a massive tip with forehead acne. It's just making sure you're going to the toilet at least once a day. If you can go twice, that's fabulous, but if it's anything less than once, that will be affecting your forehead acne, because what happens is that when we do not excrete properly, we actually reabsorb our toxins, and this forehead area is where toxins really love to come out. So yeah, it's really about making sure we've got really good elimination. Again, that's something else that's going to help with that is water, making sure you're drinking enough water. I think 1.5 litres is a good benchmark to aim for. Other things can help, like for example in the morning, have some warm water and some lemon. Use a straw though to protect your teeth, that can really get your digestion going, but you'll really find it does help with your skin. The next thing would be food allergies. So I really recommend you keep a food diary for a couple of weeks, and to see if your breakouts on your forehead get worse or get better depending on what you're eating, to see if maybe you have any intolerances or anything that could be triggering that. A really good example of this is when I was younger, the forehead area was actually my worst area, and when I was around 19 I actually got diagnosed that I have a wheat allergy, and when I cut out wheat, all the little bumps on my forehead actually went. So yeah, super fascinating when it comes to like food allergies and tolerances in this area, but I think it's just, in general, it's just that digestive thing up here. You can get tests nowadays to find out if you've got intolerances and all that kind of stuff, but I think firstly the best thing to do is a food diary. It's free. You can, you know, it doesn't cost you any money to do it. It does take a little bit more time, but it's free. The thing with food intolerance tests and things like that is that, one, either it takes forever to get like your doctor to actually do it. Like, even when I knew I was reacting to wheat, it took like a year to get the doctors to actually do like tests on me to take it seriously. The other thing is that it's expensive as well. Like, it's not a cheap test to do. So I mean, I think it can be around like £300, so not everyone has that. So yeah, I would just say doing a food diary first is the best thing to do, and try and figure out yourself. It will save you a lot more money, and sometimes you can actually be even more accurate, and it also teaches you to be more in tune with your body. One more thing I'm just going to add in here relating to like diet is you could look into if it is an issue with yeast and that kind of candida area. That's when I would probably just, you know, go to a doctor, maybe talk to them, see if they think it is something fungal, and see if there is something going on around that. I haven't got too much experience in like fungal acne. I've had experience in the sense of, I know yeast has affected my skin before, but I didn't have like candida and things like that. But I know that that is something that sometimes people really do get affected by. So maybe that's something to look into if maybe, you know, you've got a bit of an overgrowth going on in there and you've got something yeasty going on inside. So again, that's going to come down to gut health. So it's all kind of, you know, same point as the first one. The next tip I have is sleep. So just making sure you're getting a really good quality sleep. Now, this area of our face is linked to, you know, the effects of how we sleep as well. So if we have a really poor sleep, then it can make the skin here worse. So yeah, that's just another thing to maybe look into. I'm actually going to put a video up this week or next week. I don't know when it's going to go up, but I'm going to be putting one up on sleep and my like personal tips to get a really good night's sleep. So yeah, that'll be coming soon if you need some tips in that area. Okay, so next up I have a couple of lifestyle tips. So the first one would be hair products. So definitely check to see if your hair products are not the culprits. The forehead area is such an easy area for hair products to be an issue for. I mean, even my boyfriend, I remember he told me a story when he was younger. He had like breakouts on his skin, and when he cut out using hair products, they all disappeared. So yeah, it really can be a trigger. I find it with shampoo as well. So I have a certain shampoo that I use and it doesn't make my skin worse. Another thing I would also check is if you're going to the gym and you're sweating a lot, making sure you're removing that sweat after your workout and not letting it just sit there, because our forehead is definitely a part of our face which is going to excrete sweat the most. So just making sure that's clean and keeping up the hygiene is going to really help. The next thing would be hats. So we are actually going into autumn winter, and this is a time where people like to get out the beanie hats. So what I would recommend is, you know, giving your hats a wash. Just chuck them in the washing machine, make sure they are, you know, clean, and you're not just reusing the same hats all the time, because when you have oils on your skin, they can, you know, like accumulate into the hats as well. So that's another thing I just be like mindful of. And then the other thing as well is that when we've always got our forehead covered, you're not letting oxygen to your skin either. So you know, like bacteria and stuff probably can harvest a bit, you know, better in that environment, especially if it's like warm as well. So yeah, that's another thing to be wary of, just hats, you know, if you are a hat goer. And a similar one would be fringes, and this goes for boys and girls, because I know boys like to have this kind of like front heavy piece of hair going on nowadays. Make sure that, one, your hair is clean. Something that I when I was younger, I used to actually have a fringe, like a little side one, and even if I wasn't washing my hair like all the time, I would literally just wash my fringe in my sink and make sure that was just still clean. So that helps. Or to be honest with you, if acne is a really big problem for you, I would consider maybe changing the hairstyle, getting rid of the fringe, because when it's just always covered, again, it's that oxygen thing. It's also the oils from your hair. So our hair does naturally have oils, and that is going on your skin, that could be causing you to break out. So yeah, fringes can be a tricky one. I would just say if you really are adamant to have one, just make sure it is clean. And then another lifestyle tip I would have is getting off any excess oil. Now, you can buy blotting papers, but personally I'm not a massive fan of them anymore, because a lot of them contain talc, which can be quite like pore clogging. So what you can do is, if you go to like the toilet and you get some like toilet roll, you can like peel back the layers of the toilet roll and get like an inside part of it and use that as a blotting paper. It works so well. I do that all the time to get any like excess oil off my skin. Now, that being said, I'm not saying, you know, get rid of oil altogether, like, and you know, try and strip it off through your skincare and all that kind of stuff. I'm literally just talking about if you're getting really shiny throughout the day and you just want to just get that little bit of a layer off, do it then. Because a little fun fact for you guys is our sebum that we produce is actually antibacterial. It has antibacterial properties. So yeah, it actually does, it is trying to help our skin actually, believe it or not. So yeah, this tip is definitely more for, like, for example, if you're at school and you're like, you know, or like at work all day and you just notice your skin's getting very shiny, just to like get that little bit off throughout the day. That's all I'm basically saying. And then from a skincare point of view, I would say exfoliate and tone are going to be your best friends. So making sure you're exfoliating at least like 2 to 3 times a week. I'd say 2 times minimum, so 2 to 3 would be a really good one to aim for. You can either go for like a physical scrub, make sure it's got a round bead, you know, so it doesn't scratch your skin, or go for like an acid, like a glycolic or a lactic or something like that. You know, or whatever you know works for your skin, and make sure you are doing regular exfoliation to really help, you know, stop anything accumulating and keep that skin nice and clean. And also with a toner, I think a toner will be great because it helps to not only reset the pH and make that back in balance, but also with toners, this is where you could, you know, put one of your exfoliating steps and choose, you know, when you want to use it. So for example, I have a toner, at the minute I'm using the Ole Henriksen, keep messing this up, Ole Henriksen Dark Spot Toner. I don't use it every single night, but I do use it occasionally, and I find, especially on my forehead, I like to pop it like a bit more concentrated, and I find that's been really helping with any kind of texture and little bumps on my skin. And then also when it comes to moisturizers, is just being mindful of not overloading the skin. So what I find, for example, is I use moisturizer all over my skin in the morning, but in the evening I find it's just a bit too heavy for my skin at night. So I put my moisturizer like on my cheeks and everywhere, but I actually leave my forehead like out, and I find that's actually been helping me. So just kind of, you know, listening to your skin, seeing where it needs the moisture. Anyway guys, I think that's it for all my tips for forehead acne. If you guys have any tips, then let me know what yours are. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, because it helps me out so much, and I appreciate it so much when you like videos and comment, all that kind of fun stuff. To my side right now, I'll put my video that I did on cheek acne and all the tips I have for that. So if you want to go check that out, it is right there to go click. Anyway, have a wonderful day guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye.